decided I had to stand for this one because it's too exciting. Yes, I did film this in July. Hello! So last year I made a video called How Many Works in Progress is Too Many? In which I decided there's no such thing as too many. This year I wanted to make an update of that because things have changed in a most exciting way. So, the format of this video is going to be, I'm going to talk you through what I consider to be a work in progress, what is my collection point, what books I have out already, what books are coming out soon, and then what are my current works in progress. So that's the format I have planned. I will immediately forget that, of course. And a big part of why I wanted to do this now in July is because I just got this in the post today, and if you saw my intersectionality video, if I'd actually brought that out, this was the thing that interrupted and lost my train of thought and made me end the video so abruptly. So, exciting. So what I consider to be a work in progress is something that I have physical, actual writing for. And I don't mean like I think everybody thinks of a work in progress slightly differently. Like, I consider a work in progress to be something that I have, like, probably most of a first draft for, at the very least. I don't consider it a work in progress until I've got that first draft and I know that there is somewhere to go with the story, that it's not just a concept or an idea that I can write a scene of that turns into a short story that I post to nopoodles or wordpress.com, but it's something that's actually, like, longer lasting. So, but I know that some people consider it a work in progress if you even have the idea for it. This is where I keep my ideas until I'm ready to write them, and also where I keep them forever. This is, you may have noticed if you did watch that video last time, this is not the same one. Unfortunately, in the move, Ayla got very, very stressed. Ayla is my cat. She got very, very stressed out. She peed in the bag of my work things, which included my collection point and my business notebook, which meant I had to painstakingly turn cat pee soaked pages to copy things out. It was unpleasant. She also peed on my printed beta copy of one of the projects I'll get into in a minute, which was very sad because it had some really nice feedback in it. But I had already incorporated all of the stuff, so at least there's that. So in my collection point, this is where I collect ideas. I have copied up everything that was in the previous collection point and also put in a couple of new things. I'm not going to read you through my collection point because that would be excessive and annoying. But basically what this is for is to write down all of those ideas so I don't lose them, so they go out of my head and into somewhere safe, so that when I actually get around to wanting to write stories, I have stuff to fall back on, stuff to look at, but I also have the opportunity to be able to ignore those ideas and actually work on what I want to work on. So, we will be using the collection point for quick pitches because that's how I write the stuff down in it. I think I have more detail in that from the last one. So anyway, let me talk you through the books that I actually have available and published right now. Right now I have Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse, which came out in 2021, October of 2021. It is a fantasy novel. It has a sequel that came out in 2023, this year in March, Mary Ellen Finding the Air. It is literally a follow-on sequel. They're good. Mary wants to be a guardian. There's just a few things standing in her way: her gender, her secret heritage, her penchant for questioning authority. When a guardian colonel comes to Mary for help, what can she... I do advice. When a guardian colonel comes to Mary for help, what can she do but agree she'd only be risking her entire life? But is it worth it for a step to guardianship? That risking her life thing, that had consequences. And then we also have what came out in June, 27th of June. Yeah, I do love the 20 whatevers. 27th of June this came out. It's a sci-fi novel, Welcome to Humanity. It follows three people trying to forge connections and build community in the face of growing intolerance and fear. Ravi has been reanimated, brought back to life for reasons unknown. Dr. Palmer finds paperwork that redefines her entire life's work and leaves her questioning how much of her humanity she's willing to sacrifice for passion. And Blue lost everything to the crash, but they gained something even greater, independence. You'll notice this one is pretty short, comparative. It's not a long one. This is a short novel. It is just enough words to be a novel rather than a novella. Bear that in mind. It is also the minimum price I could set it for paperbacks, because everywhere is up their printing costs. I wanted it to be $7.99, but then I would have been paying you, which I don't have the money for that. So those are all the books I have out right now. Welcome to Humanity was a very chaotic one, because I finished it in like February, March. I didn't think I was going to do. And then I was like, I want to publish it for my anniversary, which I have a whole video about as well. It was a very chaotic experience, because I already had a second book planned for this year. And this one. This formatting, the formatting inside this book is terrible. This is A4 pages, size down. Please note, the size of the font, tiny. No, it's not this short, I swear. Also, this is the first draft. But this is the official announcement for the release coming out in October, or the official YouTube announcement for the release coming out in October. This is not the cover. Again, this is just a beta copy. There's not even a beta copy. The beta copy got peed on by the cat. It's called Unlicensed Delivery, and it's the first in the IPA novels. Basti finally has his ship, the thing he's been working for his whole life. Now all he needs is a deep space travel license. And a crew. And jobs enough to make the ship stay spaceborne and keep paying his crew. And keep feeding his crew. All while trying to get a license. It's fine, he'll be fine. Nothing's gonna go horribly, horribly wrong. That's a terrible pitch. I haven't landed on my official pitch yet. But that is coming out in October. Again, this is not the cover. The cover's gonna look very different from that. I will have a cover reveal later. I don't have a proof copy of that yet because it's July. It's early July. It's July before I go on my holiday for my wedding anniversary. And then we have this thing. This thing is also coming out soon. Going to open it. I love being able to do this kind of stuff on camera. So I get all of my stuff printed through Docs Direct right now because they will print and bind it for you, and they give free sweeties, which is absolutely not why I also give free sweeties when you buy a book from me. This is it. So it's also where I get all of my short story zines printed from, because they do really nice print jobs, honestly. So this, is that the front? Nope, that's the back. I swear I did it the other way. No? Okay. This is an omnibus collection. It is formatted, and it is, somewhat lacking in page numbers. That's fine. It is formatted, despite the fact that I normally don't do that for feedback copies. But this is my wife's feedback copy. She's going to take this on her commute and read it and give me feedback on it. And then hopefully that means I will be able to bring it out in 2024. This is technically 2 stories in one. This is an omnibus version of it. This is all of it in one. It's all of it in one. But this is my pirate project from last year. I talked about it last year, my pirate project. This is it, both parts. So we have the part that was originally the prequel, which I won't give any spoilers. I'm not going to say what the title is. The first chapter is called Many Things, but Not a Fool. And the first chapter of the sequel to that, like the main pirate narrative, that's not actually the reality of it, is called I Will Bring You to Your Knees. So that's all you're getting from that. Basically, Nat has been captured by pirates, to be held for ransom, but the problem is Nat's father is not going to pay that ransom. And Nat doesn't want him to receive the request, because the thing is, he's not going to pay, and that's an excellent way to be killed by pirates. So, cool. That's most of the stories that I had as works in progress last year. Oh my god. So what does that mean? Well, basically that I've started a lot of new works in progress, actually. So last year I had Welcome to Humanity, both of the pirate things, and Unlicensed Delivery, and Mary Ellen Finding the Air. All 5 of those were still in the work in progress stage, and now they're all finished, which is a little bit overwhelming, honestly. So now I have the Fae Quartz novel that I talked about last time is still ongoing, sort of on pause for now. It's just a normal thing that happens. And I think that was all of the ones that I talked about last time. I should have written a list, but I think that's the only one that's left. So what do I have now? Well, that's where my collection point comes into play. We have this one, which is, I'm currently just entitling it the name of the main character, which is really normal for me, but it's Billy. Billy is a paranormal, pseudo-contemporary novel based around Billy, the main character, who is a guild-certified arctay. An arctay is like a magic-imbued demon hunter kind of thing. So you can be a regular hunter, you can have magic powers and be a regular certified hunter, but you are born with arctay powers and you're usually taken by the guild in childhood. Billy was a little too old to be taken by the guild. Billy has a bit of an attitude, so the guild doesn't really like them, doesn't really want them to stick around, especially because the vast majority of arctay are women, and Billy is certainly not one of those. So they have sent Billy to the most dangerous place that has a guild office. Claretbury. Claretbury is, well, on those rare clear days, Claretbury is, well, dead. It's filled with vampires, basically. It's a vampire run town. It's sort of like Mob-esque, but the mob is vampires. It's a lot of fun. There's a whole series of Billy that I have planned, and I've got, I'd say, sort of 40% of a novel written so far. The next thing on my list of works in progress is my IPA novels. So Unlicensed Delivery is the first one in the series. There are going to be more. Last year when I talked about it, I said that there was going to be 10 of these novels. I'm not sure if that's true anymore because I've tried writing a couple of them and they are proving to be more difficult than I anticipated, which is fine because that's just sometimes what happens. And it doesn't mean that they're never going to happen, as proven with Welcome to Humanity, which I thought several times over was never going to happen. I have about 3 of those on the go, maybe 4 of those on the go right now, and so many. And I have the first Billy novel, so that is again 5 works in progress, plus the Fae Quartz novels are technically 6. And also, actually, I did start another novel, which is what my wife has called Silly Zone Cat. That one's hard to explain. Basically, we've got the idea for it. It fits into the Claretbury universe, the Billy universe, as like a side novel, but it also doesn't have to. I think I will be fitting it in like that though. But basically, the Silly Zone Cat thing is, when we first got Ayla in 2021, we experienced what we like to call the Silly Zone with the cat. The Silly Zone is where the cat's pupils go massive and they sort of flatten themselves to the floor. And they sort of scurry about like a little lizard kind of thing, like a cat that's also a lizard. If you like cats and lizards, please read Unlicensed Delivery. But basically the premise of that is that they go into the silly zone and they rampage and they cannot be reasoned with. And we made the joke of, can you imagine if you got magically turned into a cat and then you were yourself most of the time just in a cat body, but then every every night for like an hour you end up in the silly zone and you are completely fully cat. And we were like, that sounds like a hilarious story, that would be so funny to write. And then the idea just took root in my brain and I've been developing it since then. And basically the premise of the novel now is this thing happened because the cat fell in love with an immortal and inappropriate person. Like the coven that she belonged to didn't like that she'd fallen in love with someone. Or possibly this person found her as a cat and adopted her. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But basically they're in love now. And the person that is taking care of this cat person, silly zone, is desperately trying to find a way to undo this curse. Because if the curse continues, she will turn into a full-term cat all the time. And obviously, if you're in love with someone, you don't want them to be a cat, you want them to be themselves. And then there's a possibility that there's going to be werewolves involved. It's going to be really cool. Porthos, do you mind? No! Come here, Porthos. No, that's funny but naughty. Come here. Tell everyone you're a naughty boy. Ready, steady? Whoop! Naughty boy. But, yeah. That's all of my current works in progress, I think. I've been keeping less good of a record of them because, A, I just had to rewrite my entire collection point, saddest of faces, and let me double check because I got up to IPA and then I just stopped looking. Yeah. Oh, and then I have, this is so not written yet, so I'm actually not going to talk about it, but there's an archaeology novel in the works. So yeah, if you don't know what my faking marriage thing is, by the way, my fake courts novel, it is, Sarah is fine. She hates her job, but also, no, that's not. Sarah is fine. She hates her job, but who doesn't? She's barely scraping by, but who isn't? She has a bad relationship with her parents, but that's nothing particularly special. So getting summoned to the Fae realm seems like it can't really be much worse. At least she can stop coming up with excuses why she can't make it home for the holidays. That is a polyamorous novel, so it's going to be Thera and the Fae King that she is bound in marriage to, and also another Fae, because chaos. I've got a lot of really fun stuff in here. So yeah, I have Unlicensed Delivery is obviously coming out. My other IPA novels include the sequel to Unlicensed Delivery, so there's going to be a whole series with those same characters, which are all going to be called Unlicensed something. So if you only want to read by those characters, Unlicensed whatever. And then there's all of the other IPA novels, which are unsomethinged something. So, for example, this one that I've been having real trouble with is Chamber's story, and you'll meet Chamber in Unlicensed Delivery. But in Chamber's story is originally called Unexplored Station, which will make sense. It's not a spoiler. It will make sense when you have read Unlicensed Delivery. And I'm not going to read the synopsis pitch thing for that because spoilers. And then we have other something titles like that. And yeah, that's everything in my collection point right now. Or rather, that's everything I've got actual words for that exists in my collection point. Talk to me about your works in progress in the comments, or tell me what you're excited to hear from me, or just go, oh my gosh, another book, 3 books in 1 year, Willie, you're gonna do this every year? No, I'm not. This has been too much. I cannot cope. My original plan was to do a book every 6 months, and then I didn't finish Mary Ellen Finding the Air until quite late on in the whole process, so I ended up not being able to do that, and I had to wait an extra year on top of that. Which, to be fair, was also because of things like the fact that we moved and we got a dog and so on and so forth, and I'm not making excuses. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish other books, but like that one took me 18 months of concentrated time. And that's okay. And then, because I had finished that in the October and I planned to bring it out in the March, and then I finished Welcome to Humanity, and I really wanted to bring that out for my 5/10 year anniversary. Again, I have a video about that. I just threw it out there. It was a bad idea because I hadn't even moved into this house yet. We were in temporary accoms while I was doing most of that work, most of the publication work, getting my proof copies and stuff sent to temporary accoms, and we're still struggling to get post here right now in July. And yeah, it's all a lot. And then having literally just brought that out, again, it's July right now, having just brought that out and having to jump straight into the next publication thing, it doesn't leave a lot of time for writing, which is why I ended up working on my pirate thing, because this was already almost finished. It needed a huge revamp, but every part of the plot, apart from the very end, was already there. And therein lies the situation, I guess. I was going to say problem, but I don't think it's a problem. Like, it's very hard to write new stuff without having a concentrated amount of time to be able to do it, which is why I'm making this video now, just before I go on my holiday for my wedding anniversary, because I know that starting anything now is just going to ruin my holiday. So I'm waiting until after then, and the plan is that between halfway through July and October, I will hopefully have another book finished. But the thing is if this is as done as I think it is, which again, this is why I get feedback, but if this is as done as I think it is, this can come out in 2024 in its 2 separate parts, and possibly an omnibus collection. If this comes out in 2024, that gives me a year and a half to get myself together. It allows me just a little bit of breathing room to try and get more stuff finished, because I am starting from the start again. Like, the vast majority of the things that I've published, Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse, I started, well, first started, let's not consider that an option, but started properly in 2018, and it took me to 2021 to actually get it to publishable standards. Mary Ellen Finding the Air, to be fair, quickest book I've ever written. That's not true anymore, actually. Almost quickest book I've ever written. I started in 2021, and I published it in 2023. Welcome to Humanity, I started in 2018 and I finished in 2023. That took me 5 years as well. Unlicensed Delivery, I started in 2021 and it's getting published again in 2023. But to be fair, Unlicensed Delivery, I very much, no, I started in, did I start in 2021 or 2020? But I very much did the thing where I blasted through, printed this copy, and then just put it on a shelf for a year and a half. And then I picked it back up again, and it was basically good to go. Like, I filled in a couple of scenes, added a couple of bits. Again, the formatting on this is shit. It's like 300 pages long. Well, actually, I think it's like 400 pages long. It's not a short one, is what I'm saying. Like, it's, I'd call it approximately the same length as Mary Ellen Breaking the Curse. So, yeah. The point is that I had a lot of stuff that I had halfway done, or like 3/4 of the way done, that I could get together and publish. And now I'm starting from very early stages all over again. I have a lot of books that I haven't got very far with yet. And like this, I started in 2019, and again, it's not getting published until 2024, hopefully. It's, a lot of these things have taken me quite a lot of time. Like, again, Mary Ellen Finding the Air at a year and a half is the quickest turnaround I've ever had. And I don't regret doing any of it the way that, what are you eating? But that's the quickest turnaround I've ever had at a year and a half. So I need to give myself a little bit of time to catch up with the publishing plan. And I think that's probably going to be the best way I personally can run this whole thing, this whole shindig, is if I give myself that time, that 6 months at a time kind of thing, hopefully. And then if I've got a couple of things ready to go and I space them out nicely every 6 months or so, it will give me the time to get more stuff finished, rather than doing the thing that I really was worried I was going to have done this year, where I published 3 books in 1 year and then you don't hear from me again for a while. I was really worried that was going to happen, and I'm so glad I finished my pirate novel, so that's not going to be a thing. Although you will have to wait a while for Unlicensed 2 and other IPA novels in that series. Anyway, I need to go and take that off the dog and the camera is in my way. So I'm going to do a quick goodbye. If you want to find out more about me and if any of my books have come out subsequent to this video coming out, then all the links you need are in the description box below. Link to my website being the key one there. And including a link to my Ko-fi account if you feel like supporting the channel. And all of that, as I said, is in the description box below, right next to the like and subscribe buttons if you feel like sticking around. I butchered the fuck out of that, but I really have to go and take this off the dog. Bye!